Hey there, welcome to the channel where you fly with me, Jonathan. If this is your first time on the channel, then just know that here we fly, investigate, and we learn everything that is aviation related. If you like aviation, then you're at the right place. On the last video, we talked about the aviator's six-pack and how to start the Cessna 152, the dirty way. Picking up from what we dropped off on the last video, on today's video, we're going to do what we call a traffic pattern here at this airport. Right now, we are currently at an airport called Goma International Airport, and it's the base airport for this channel. It is located in the country of the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa, in the province of North Kivu, in the city of Goma. Hence, it's called Goma International Airport, with its iconic Mount Nyiragongo on your screen. We have already made a video about the history of Goma International Airport and the iconic mountains in the background. Links to the two videos are in the description. So, before we fly, let's learn a bit about what a traffic pattern is. So what is a traffic pattern? It is simply a pattern that allows aircrafts to take off and land on a continuous basis while remaining very close to an aerodrome. It is simply a rectangular shaped loop that goes from the departure runway back to the departure runway. It follows a chosen runway's direction, and it can be flown on the left side or the right side of the chosen runway. If it's on the left side, we call it a left traffic pattern, and only left turns are permitted. If it's on the right side, we call it a right traffic pattern, and only right turns are permitted. By default, the standard traffic pattern at all aerodromes is the left traffic pattern, but some airports may be different. The traffic pattern by default is always flown 1,000 feet above the aerodrome altitude for aircrafts propelled by propellers, and 1,500 feet for aircraft propelled by turbojets or turbofans. But sometimes it can also change depending on the geographic situation of the aerodrome. A traffic pattern is made up of 5 legs. Using the standard traffic pattern, let's learn those legs. The first leg is 1, the departure leg. There is nothing more to say here, it's basically the takeoff phase. After taking off, the aircraft continues to climb to 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet, depending on the aircraft type. When 800 meters or half a nautical miles from the runway, the departure leg comes to an end. Here, the pilot can either continue the pattern or exit the pattern. Exiting the pattern can be done by simply flying straight out or flying at a 45 degrees angle to the departure leg. But if the pilot wishes to continue the pattern, the pilot will begin the second leg. 2. The crosswind leg. After finishing the departure leg, the pilot turns 90 degrees to the left and flies perpendicular to the runway. The crosswind leg is approximately 1 nautical mile long. After 1 nautical mile, the pilot looks at his window and sees if the end of the runway is at an angle of 45 degrees from the aircraft. When it's 45 degrees, then at that moment, the crosswind leg comes to an end, and the third leg begins. 3. The downwind leg. After finishing the crosswind leg, the pilot turns 90 degrees to the left and becomes parallel to the runway. By now, the aircraft will already be on the pattern altitude. The downwind leg is around 3.5 nautical miles long. The side that the downwind leg is located is called the downwind side. The other side of the runway is called the upwind side. When the aircraft is abeam the threshold of the departure runway, the pilot will continue flying while looking to his left until the runway threshold is at a 45 degrees angle from the aircraft. When it's 45 degrees, then at that moment, the downwind leg will come to an end, and the fourth leg will begin. 4. The base leg. After finishing the downwind leg, the pilot will turn 90 degrees to the left and be perpendicular to the runway and begin descending to land. Here, everything will now be visual, and before reaching the extended center line of the runway, the base leg will come to an end, and the fifth leg and final leg will begin. 5. The final approach leg. After finishing the base leg, the pilot will align the aircraft to the extended center line and land. Before landing, the pilot can decide to do 3 things. 1. A go around, which means he will put full power and not touch the runway. This will put him back on the departure leg. 2. A touch and go, which means that he will touch down first, Then immediately put full power and take off again, putting him back on the departure leg. And finally 3, a full stop landing, which will bring everything to a close. And that's how a traffic pattern works. Very simple, right? Alright, so how will the traffic pattern be flown here at Goma International Airport? At Goma International Airport, the standard departure runway is always runway 17, which has a heading of 173 degrees. So 173 degrees is our traffic pattern direction. Due to the close proximity to the border of Rwanda, only the west side of Goma International Airport can handle traffic patterns. With this information, it gives us a right traffic pattern for runway 17, meaning only right turns are permitted. Goma International Airport is at around the altitude of 5,100 feet. Since our aircraft today is powered by a propeller, our pattern altitude will be 5,100 feet plus 1,000 feet, which gives us 6,100 feet. So, did you manage to follow? If not, then just go back a bit and rewatch what you did not get. So, with all this information, let's go and fly that right traffic pattern on this beautiful Cessna 152. Alright, the aircraft is all powered up. QNH is 1010 and inserted. Let's taxi to runway 17. Taxi lights on and parking brake off. Let's check the brakes. Okay, all good. So I won't bore you with the taxi procedure. My editing self will do his magic and I will see you at the runway holding line. And welcome back. I am holding short of runway 17 and I'm going to do a quick engine check and see if it's all right the quick and dirty way. Okay, 15,000 RPM set. Left magneto, right magneto. Okay, all good. Controls, good and free. All right, strobe lights and landing lights on. Let's take off. All right, power set. Airspeed's alive. 60 knots and gradually rotate. Okay, so about half a mile from the runway, and I think let's begin our right turn to the Crosswind Leg. We are 5,700 feet, which is 600 feet from the airport altitude. So from the runway heading of 173 degrees plus 90 degrees gives us 263 degrees. But I'm gonna cut a corner and fly at 290 degrees. I just don't want to fly over the lake. Okay, we are 45 degrees from the runway end of 17, and that means we have done about 1 nautical mile on the Crosswind Leg. Now let's make a right turn to the Downwind Leg. We are currently at the pattern altitude of 6,100 feet. And this time I won't fly the wrong heading. So 263 degrees plus 90 degrees gives us 353 degrees to fly on the downwind leg. On a traffic pattern, everything happens so fast, so you should always be prepared, especially on a demanding airport like Goma International Airport, with all its high terrain in the area. We are now passing the beginning of runway 17, and from here on, we are going to wait until we are around 45 degrees from the threshold of the runway 17. After reaching 45 degrees to the threshold, like we discussed, it will mean that we have covered around 3.5 nautical miles on the downwind leg. From there, we will go to our next leg, which is the base leg, and a lot will happen on that leg. 353 degrees plus 90 degrees gives us 83 degrees. "45 degrees to the runway, let's turn. Okay, so 83 degrees is our heading. From here, we are going to start a gradual descent. We will also keep an eye on the runway so that we are about to reach the extended center line. We will begin the final leg, which is the final approach leg. Okay, that's close enough. We can begin our turn to the final approach leg for runway 17. The heading is 173 degrees. We overshot it a bit, but that's fine. Okay, we are lined up, our speed is good and altitude is good, and we are cleared to land. We are doing a full stop landing. Let's make a smooth landing, shall we? And flare, and there you go. And welcome back to Goma International Airport, and that is how you fly a right traffic pattern at Goma International Airport with a Cessna 152, the dirty way. Now, there are two things that I have left out in this video because I wanted you to know the basics first, which you now know. Since you now know the basics of a traffic pattern, it will now be easy to learn those two things. Click the video on your screen so that we go to the next video and learn those two remaining things. Consider subscribing for more and like the video for the YouTube algorithm to do its thing. Also, if you haven't, watch my previous video where we talked about an aviator's six-pack. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next. Bye.